Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog, so let's get to it. All right, you guys, so first we got to start with the serious stories, and I hate starting with these kind of stories because they're both about kids, but, we got to report the news. The first story up is, I know you guys all know that they did find the body of 3-year-old Camille Cupcake McKinney. She was the little girl that was abducted in Alabama at a birthday party. She was in an apartment complex out in Alabama. I'm not sure exactly what, was it Birmingham or the outskirts of Birmingham, Alabama? And she apparently was away from any adult supervision, and about 8:30 p.m. Man was able to lure her away from, I guess, the rest of the party goers that may have been probably inside and outside. And yeah, they took her. They never saw her again. They were able to see on the surveillance camera, though, that the guy had lured her away. And that was it. Shortly after she was taken, they did have picture of the SUV in question, and they were able to actually get the SUV the very next day, I believe early in that day, and also the people that were in it. And they held on to Patrick Stallworth, who I believe is 39 years old, and Derek Brown, who actually is a woman, and she's 29 years old. When they were detained, Stallworth was actually charged with 4 counts of possession of obscene material of persons under 17 years of age. He was charged with 3 counts of possession with intent to disseminate obscene material after the police allegedly had found child pornography on his cell phone. They held on to Derek Brown because she was on probation from a case a year or so ago where she had taken her children who were in state custody. So she was on probation. They revoked her probation, but they were able to let Stallworth go on a $500,000 bond. But right after they let him go, then they rearrested him because they felt that they were the main suspects in this case. And then sure enough, yesterday, they found the body of, this sweet little baby in a dumpster in a landfill. And I'm sure the community is devastated. I'm sure those parents can't even express in words how they must feel. I just can't even imagine. And I don't know. I mean, anytime you have a pedophile, people who have lustful feelings for children, that's already sickening enough. But why are you, what are you doing with 3-year-old babies? Like, what has to be going on in a person's mind for them to even, I just can't even wrap my brain around the thought that, these two took this child, did God knows what to her. Obviously have some sort of something for children with all the stuff that was at least in his phone. It's just a horrible thought. And I know the parents are driving themselves crazy because, the minute that you turn your eye away from your children, and then something like this happens, I would never be able to forgive myself. I feel so bad for them. I feel so bad for those parents especially. But this baby, this 3-year-old who hadn't even, gotten started with her life, and it was already taken away. Yesterday, I saw so many people that are in that city just talking about how, the search was on, and, night and day they were looking for this little girl. I hate to say it, but whenever I see a child getting abducted, I never have a good feeling about it. Never. I always feel like they've killed that child, because what are you taking a kid for? I mean, there's never any good intentions behind stealing somebody else's child. It's not like the movie, somebody just wants a child of their own to love. It is usually because this person wants to do something to this child and then dispose of them. And more times than I would like to even count, this is usually the outcome. So, prayers up for Camille's family, her parents especially, but all of her family, their friends, that community. Like I said, these kind of things just wear you down. When you hear about stories like this, it just makes you have like, you just have like you just don't believe in humanity any longer. It's just like, what exactly is going on in this world today? So I can't even imagine what that poor little girl went through. But hopefully Stallworth and Brown will pay dearly for this, because it makes no sense that they would do this to the baby. They're saying that there's no connection to the family. These people don't know them, have never seen them, and that Brown and Stallworth actually just thought about what they wanted to do, and scoped out and found this little girl and had the opportunity to do so. So yeah, we're gonna keep our eye on this story. I'm sure we'll hear more about what happens to them, and then when I know more, I will let you know. But rest in peace to Camille McKinney. And then the next story, you guys, is infuriating. Like, when you see this viral video of this mother who is so emotionally distraught about the fact that her 8-year-old son, who had gone and told the appropriate people that he had been molested and had been being molested for the past 2 years by the husband of the daycare owner that he was going to at the time. I think they say it was called Little Piggy's Child Care. Gregory Johnston, like I said, was the husband of the owner. He was molesting this child and terrorizing this child, because the little boy told the authorities, or the appropriate people, I should say, that not only was he molested, but he was a gun was pointed to his head, not once but twice. That this man told this little boy that if he told anybody, that he would kill him and his family. Repeatedly sodomized this kid. And you could just imagine what else he did. He had access to this child for 2 years. The family was friends with these people, trusted them, and the little boy, I'm not quite sure how it came to be that he finally did tell, but I'm sure this kid is fucked up. I'm sure he is, you hate to say ruined, but you have ruined this child's life. You have taken away something, like the mother said, that he will never be able to get back, and set him on a path that could be, So anyway, the mother is on video, and she is very upset because the prosecution called her and told her that they were dropping the case. And that was because they felt like the little boy was not, he was not going to be able to withstand trial, that he was not mentally stable enough to withstand trial. And he probably isn't. But it just seems like something is so wrong with the law that because I guess it's the little boy's word against this man's word, who of course has said that he's not guilty and has not done anything. And I'm guessing that they're trying to say that this 8-year-old little boy would make up this kind of story. Sure, I'm sure there's inconsistencies. It's been going on for 2 years. So the boy could be getting stories mixed up or something, but I'm sure an 8-year-old child is not most likely to lie about something like this. But I just feel like it's really something wrong with a justice system that actually lets a person go free. I mean, just walk away. I know they're saying that it's dropped without prejudice, which means that they can redo this case when I guess they feel like the little boy is ready to be a witness on the stand. But in the meantime, they just let this person go, and he is free to, go and molest other children yeah, something is wrong with that. I mean, we hear about people at Rikers Island that's been sitting and waiting for weeks and months and sometimes even years for their trial to hit the court. I mean, I'm not saying that that's probably the best course of action, but it just seems like that is a flawed law, you know? And I guess it's there to protect the innocent, the truly innocent, but in this case, I don't know what else could be done, but why can't we try him even without, I guess you just can't try him without the witness. But I feel like the system has failed this mother who, is very, very upset that she can't do. It must be so frustrating. I mean, frustrating is even too light of a word. It must be so depleting to not be able to protect your child in a situation like this. Nothing that you can do. Okay, you're stuck with a child who is now nothing like what you gave birth to, what you had hopes for the future, and that other person who did all of these things to your child is just out willy-nilly. I would not be surprised if this woman went and found him and did something to him. That was how she just was at her wit's end. And the fact that she does know them personally. I mean, she said that he was a pallbearer in her mother's funeral. So, that proximity I just wouldn't be surprised. I hope that she doesn't, because then it will be a double tragedy, because then that little boy will be without his mother. But, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't even have a good ending for that story. That, I don't know if you can force the prosecution to do anything in this case because of, what they said. But of course, this man is a white man and this little boy is a black boy. And, the race factor has been brought up. And I would hate to think that race would come before the safety of a child. Well, I don't give a damn if this child is black or white, but it makes you think about these things, and then you just wonder, I mean, are we not protecting the victim because they're black? I mean, I really hope that that's not what the case is here. But you can see why people are asking that question. But yeah, that case is infuriating. I saw that video. One of the rock stars sent it to me yesterday, and I was at work and I didn't have my Bluetooth on. I just looked at the video and I didn't have the sound on, but I was just looking at her face and I was just like, oh, now what is this? And she was crying and upset. You could just tell that her heart was torn, like broken and to millions of pieces. And then when I actually listened to the video, I felt so bad for her. So yeah, this system is not perfect, and I realize that, but in this case, it just seems like it is not doing the job that it was intended for. Hopefully they do get justice for that little boy though, because you can't just be holding guns to kids. What the fuck is going on in this world today? I mean, we attacking the kids now? I just. Anyway, prayers up for that family as well. All right, you guys. So yeah, heavy stories. Let's try to bring it up a little bit. Let's talk about Tank. I don't know if this is going to be bringing it up either, but so Tank was all in the blogs yesterday. Tank is not my favorite person, but Tank definitely is good TV, good radio. Whenever he goes on these radio shows or these blog shows, he knows how to entertain. He knows how to get the conversation going. And it was the same in this case. He was on Angela Yee's podcast, Lip Service, is that the name of it? Yeah. And they were talking about men who have all these terrible excuses when they know that they've done something wrong, okay, and excuses that are unbelievable and things like that. And somehow Angela Yee brought up an example to Tank by saying, what if there was a guy who sucked somebody's dick one time, okay, or maybe twice, let's say it was 2 times. Does that make them gay? And Tank went on to say that he doesn't believe that if a man has oral sex with another man, that makes him gay necessarily. Okay. She said, even if it was twice. And he said, well, I mean, you know, the first time he did it, he wasn't really sure if he liked it or not. Thought he'd try it again just to make sure. Second time, didn't like it. Okay. Didn't like the taste. That doesn't make him gay. And of course, that set off all kind of controversy yesterday, and many talks and opinions on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and everywhere else about the, you know, does that make a person gay? Well, me, you know, before I started to really try to critically think about this, I said, well, yeah, if a man is giving another guy a blowjob, then yeah, that would most likely make him gay. All right. Then I was thinking about it, and I said, okay, because you guys know I be trying to look at both sides. I said, okay, Roxanne, am I thinking that only because it is a man? And I say that because when we have women who might do these same things, say for instance, it's 2 girls or so homegirls that are out and they've been out having a good time and then went to the club, went to the parties, had a whole bunch of drink, maybe smoking, on the dance floor, might have kissed the girl and everything. And then later on that evening, because everybody was so drunk and they was in the guise of partying, you know, maybe these 2 girls hooked up, but then that was just it. Never decided to do it again or anything like that. Does that make that woman gay? We do have friends that we be like, that bitch ain't gay. You know, she just going through something right now. And she, you know, and then you'll also hear about women that may have been in that lifestyle for a little while and then decided that no, that wasn't for them. And now they are in a heterosexual relationship. Do we still count them as gay? Or do we say that they are bisexual? You know, I think that if a man gave another guy a blowjob, and if a woman gave another woman, you know, was in another woman's face in a place, I think that would at least make them bi-curious. But do you pigeonhole and put them right into the category of them being gay? Is it different for men than women? Listen, it could be different for men than women because, you know, there's always double standards and there's always norms that, you know, aren't necessarily the same for both genders. So whereas we would give a woman a pass and say, oh, she ain't gay, she's just going through something, you know, her little lesbian thing, but she's not going to be that, you know, after a while. But does that make a man who may have been going through something and just decided he wanted to try something too, does that also make them, you know, just tripping for a little? I don't want to say tripping because, you know, it doesn't mean that it's bad that you decide to be gay or not to be gay, you know. And then we can even get into the conversation of people saying, well, you know, are you born gay? Or, you know, do people, I think that there are people that are born gay, and I think that there are people that make a conscious decision that this is what they want to do. They weren't necessarily born that way, but this is where they're at right now. They are open enough to just fall in love with whoever, you know, the whole sexual fluidity and, you know, all of that. I mean, I have learned so much on this channel, and I still am not nowhere near as knowledgeable as I can be on this subject. But I even now realize that there's so many different blurred lines in sexuality that whereas years ago, and I'll say maybe even just before I started this channel, like in my mind, I wouldn't have said that. I would have said, no, that makes you gay, period. Now, 10 years later and everything else that's going on, I'm thinking to myself like, well, does it? What does it make you? What does it make you? It's still hard for me to not, you know, to see it. I don't see it the same for men, you know, and that's just me. That's just how I am. I don't see it the same for men. So when I still think about a man being sexually involved with another man, that puts into my mind gay thoughts. But that doesn't mean that I'm correct. And like I just told you, I realize that there's so many things that happen now that, you know, you might not be able to just label somebody as something like that. But what do you guys understand what I'm saying, first of all? Because it's a lot to it. I guess at its most basic level, I think that a person that is willing to be sexually involved with somebody else, to me, are bi-curious and may have bisexual tendencies. That is where my head is at with it. But you guys let me know what you think about it. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what Tank is saying? Are you like, oh no, Roxanne, any man on another man is strictly gay. Any woman on another woman is strictly gay. Y'all tell me what you think, because it's an interesting thought, and you cannot just talk about the men without talking about the women. And does your feelings about it change when it is a woman? Y'all put all that down in the comments below. Angela Yee, there's been a lot of talk about supposedly there's some tension on the Breakfast Club this week because Charlamagne the God had done an interview with Gucci Mane. Okay, let me back up. I even talked about it on Top of the Blogs. It was maybe a year or two ago, maybe a few years ago. Gucci Mane, right after he got out of jail, he was on the Breakfast Club and he was talking about whatever he was talking about. And he had mentioned how Angela Yee at one time had been texting him, okay, that she was on him pretty tough, you know, because she was trying to catch up with him to see what he was doing and was kind of acting like she wanted some. And Angela Yee was like, who, me? And he said, yeah, you. And she was just like, oh, no, I never have done that. I don't even have your number. He went on and on. He was adamant. No, she did do it. Okay. He had the text messages. I don't know if he had them at the time, but, you know, he definitely remembered her sending these text messages. And she kept on saying, no, that was not her. You got that completely wrong. Okay. And they did have some back and forth about that. You can tell he was getting more upset about it than she was. And I just kind of leaned towards believing Angela Yee, only because when they were talking about it, this was back in the day when Gucci Mane was on drugs and drinking and fat and a mess and out there and doing all kind of shit anyway. And I was thinking to myself, like, maybe he was just fucked up and he just was not remembering the story right. Okay. In his mind, he just put it to her, but maybe it was somebody else. He was fucked up. Fine. So, you know, I remembered that, and it wasn't that big of a deal to me. But, you know, I guess you don't know what happens behind the scenes. Things happen, conversations are had, and I guess business decisions are made. So fast forward to now, Gucci Mane is releasing his 50th album or whatever it is. And he posted on his Instagram how he was upset that he felt like he had been banned from the Breakfast Club because of that interview. Charlamagne the God, I don't know where he interviewed him. I don't know exactly if this was a link to the Breakfast Club or if I don't really know the particulars on that, but Angela Yee wasn't there and Envy wasn't there for whatever reason. I believe DJ Envy is on vacation and Angela Yee is here or whatever, but I don't know if that interview that Charlamagne the God did was even linked to the Breakfast Club. But in this new interview that Charlamagne did with Gucci, he says, you know, how, you know, that bitch lied, talking about Yee, and saying that Envy, you know, him co-signing and, you know, that he was a liar too, and that, you know, when he saw him, he was gonna slap him and all of this shit, you know. I was just like, yeah, you could take the nigga out the hood. Okay, you can give him all the riches and the money and everything. That quality is still there. Is it that serious? I guess you could say that it's serious because he's feeling like his money is being, you know, curtailed because he can't go on some show that's very big like Breakfast Club to promote it. Radio 1, because they're part of Radio 1. Is that what it's called? I think it is. And that's a big, you know, they can break your career. I mean, break it meaning like in a bad way, because look at, even though they swear that they haven't banned K Michelle, you don't hear K Michelle's music on there. Even though they say that they haven't banned Nicki Minaj, you don't hear much of her music. And now he's talking about being banned as well, and that's affecting his sales as well. And I believe it probably has affected Nicki and K Michelle's sales too. But they will always swear that they haven't banned anybody. I don't know if the words are officially said, if they actually have a meeting and say it and put it on paper that this person is a no play, no fly zone. But maybe it's just understood that, okay, we don't fuck with him no more. We're not doing nothing. And then that's just it. Which kind of is fucked up, because the radio is there to play these artists' music, not to be involved in the personal beefs of their employees. But then you also have to remember that these employees have, the bigger and more powerful their show is, they have influence, So the same way that K Michelle had gone off on Yee, whether she was right or wrong, she was the one that paid for that, okay? And now it's looking like Gucci, as far as he is concerned, from him going off on Yee, kind of going off, not really going off like that, but now he's saying that he was banned. I was just like, yeah, it didn't seem like it should be something that we would ban a person for. So, of course, Yee and them are saying that they haven't banned him. NB, who I said is on vacation, did make a post saying that, they haven't banned him. He's never been afraid to talk to any guest, and he's never going to tell Charlemagne or Angela that they shouldn't talk to a certain person if that's what they want to do. Because now people are trying to say that there's some tension there because they're mad at Charlemagne for going against them and doing this interview. And evidently Angela Yee liked a comment that somebody said that, Charlemagne wasn't loyal, or somewhere along the lines of him not being loyal, and that he turned his back on his co-host. I listen to The Breakfast Club, I listen to them. I switch my channels in the morning, but I do listen to them a few times a week. And I do know that they know social media, so they know that whenever they're going to like something or unfollow or something, that you guys are definitely going to be on it. And so their social media antics, to me, kind of might just be them trolling, just to see what you guys are going to say. I don't think that I've been listening regularly enough this week to even realize if there has been any tension. I have noticed that Charlemagne has been late pretty much a lot of this, week. But otherwise, I don't know if I feel like the show is in danger, if they all gonna break. They go through these things and they seem to come out on the other end okay. But in the meantime, what do you guys think about that? Did you think that story was serious enough for them to feel like they would have to ban? It was different with K Michelle. K Michelle was way more confrontational. Gucci Mane, to me, the way that he was talking, I was just like, oh, he was fucked up. He probably don't know. Even though he kept on saying, yeah, I do know, You could tell he was getting a little upset, but I was just like, Angela Yee didn't seem like she was as upset as she was with the K Michelle thing. So, I don't know. Y'all tell me what you think about that, though. Do you feel like they banned him? And do you feel like it should be okay for them to ban artists when the radio is there for us to actually hear these artists' music? Do you feel like there's some problems in the Breakfast Club family? Y'all let me know below. Rockstar. So LisaRaye, she has an uncensored episode. I don't know if it's aired yet or if it's coming up soon, but they've been showing many clips of the things that she's talking about on Instagram. And one of the clips that was interesting was her talking about her marriage to former Prime Minister Michael Disick. He was the Prime Minister in Turks and Caicos, I believe. And y'all remember that whole big mess. Okay, remember that shit went down in extreme flames. Not just the marriage, but also his political career, and fraud and corruption and money stolen, all of that. We know that their marriage had a lot of infidelity issues. LisaRaye was always very open in saying that he was messing around with multiple women. And, you know, we knew of Roxy from 106 in Park. Now, not Erica, what's the child name? Eddie Murphy's wife, Nicole Murphy, and a plethora of other women. So it's not surprising that this story comes up. She says that Dwayne Martin, who she considered one of her good friends, you know, they worked together on, what was the name of the show? All of Us, I believe. Don't quote me, but I think that's what it was called. And she was friends with him. She introduced him to her husband. And he went on to really befriend Michael. And turns out that he was bringing women to him for him to cheat on Lisa with. And when she found out about that, she was very upset because she felt like, damn, you supposed to be my friend and you out here doing it like this. Well, honey, bros before hoes. Okay, so we can't never forget that. But that's a terrible way to think. I mean, you would think that as grown people, you know they married and all of this, that you could trust that, you know, they not gonna bring another bitch to the party, right? But evidently not. I mean, you know, Dwayne Martin is just you know, it's fascinating actually, because his persona that we all know is nothing apparently like the one that is actually truly happening in reality. I mean, you know, LisaRaye is the newest, but you know, Tisha Campbell Martin has been trying to tell us at least for the last couple of years that the nigga ain't no good. You had these two being married for like 20 years or something, or be together all them years, and then all of a sudden, once it was over, not only they didn't just break up, all of a sudden it was just all of this, like he was hiding money, and you know, he was buying houses and she didn't know about it, and he was doing stuff with Will Smith, you know, and the Smith family, and you know, he had all these secrets, and he didn't, you know, he was beating her. I mean, it was like all of this stuff that, I mean, I guess we wouldn't have known anyway, but you know, it just seems like it's so counter to the person that he puts forth, you know, and even that she was putting forth at the time. Yeah, it was just weird, but evidently that damn Dwayne Martin is the boogeyman, right? So yeah, she did put that out, says that she has absolutely no words for Dwayne Martin any longer. She had a viewing party, and Tisha Campbell was there, and she was supportive of her girl and telling, you know, the world that she appreciated that LisaRaye told the truth. So they banded together, you know, and I guess LisaRaye has a whole bunch of stories to tell. And, you know, I want to know some of them other stories. I wonder if it's going to be on uncensored. I'm not even going to start it. But you guys know that Lisa has her own batch of stories from the past behind her. Yeah, do you guys know if the episode has come out yet? Did you guys watch it if it has? I try to catch those uncensored, but I don't watch them regularly. Usually my husband likes to record them. So I usually will just, if I ain't got shit else to do, I'll just pull one up and watch it. But yeah, if you guys have watched it, was it good? Did you learn anything else about old LisaRaye? And Lori Harvey, boy, that girl continues to stay in the blogs, doesn't she? You know, I just saw last week that she was on vacation. I don't know if she was on vacation, but she was obviously at a beach. She was taking pictures and posting it, okay? And then we also saw that Future was on a beach and taking pictures and posting it, okay? They were taking it from different angles, but it was obvious that they were together. And, you know, I guess this was their way of just letting us know that, yeah, I guess maybe they're dating again. Like, who knows? I'm gonna tell you that Lori Harvey keeps her options open. That child goes all over the place, okay? And she's young. She should be dating. You know, she just has to be careful because, you know, you will definitely get that label. I don't know if I would say that she's an industry hoe or anything like that. I don't look at her that way, but I definitely think that she is out there living her life. Okay. And does that make her an industry hoe just because she's with these high profile guys? Because I dated a lot of people. I wasn't sleeping with all them people, you know, and I mean, I dated a lot of folks. I was out. I was having a good ass time. Folks was feeding me and you know, giving me shit to drink. You know, they was trying to get some, but that didn't mean they was going to get some. So, you know, you can't just always say that a person is a hoe just because they go out with a lot of people. I mean, you young, you single, you should be able to enjoy yourself. So, you know, I said all that to say is I don't know if she's with Future, but she's definitely keeping her options open. Okay. But they also had a story about her in a hit and run accident. I think that was on maybe Monday. It was either Monday or Tuesday. She was driving her G-Wagon in Hollywood, and they're saying that she had looked down. She was probably texting, and she ended up hitting a parked car. The impact was hard enough that it actually flipped her G-Wagon over on its side, and she had to get help to get out of the car. So a pretty substantial hit, even though these, you know, the Jeeps and the G-Wagons and so, you know, they're top heavy cars. So you have to be careful because the center of the, you know, the balance of those cars is up at the top. So when you make too sharp of a turn or something, you usually are going to topple it. They say they pulled her out, and, you know, she got on the phone, and she was on the phone. She was kind of walking around, you know, away from the crowd, I guess, that was starting to gather. And by the time the police got there, sis was gone. I was just like, yeah, I'm sure she called her parents, and I'm sure her parents got a lawyer on the phone pronto that told her, get the hell up out of there. Okay, the most you're gonna have to deal with is probably a misdemeanor charge, all right, but you need to leave. One, because I'm sure they didn't want the paparazzis to get her. Two, because I'm wondering, I'm hoping that this is not the case, but she could have had something to drink. Maybe she was not drunk, or maybe she had been smoking, because it is legal out there in California. I'm trying to figure out how they are going to, you know, reconcile this law of being able to smoke, but how does that affect you driving? Like, can you drive and smoke? There's no way I would be able to operate a car if even one puff on some weed. I have no tolerance for it. So I am like a fucking zombie. I would kill somebody on the road. I know that if I was smoking. So, like, I don't know how, because I don't think California yet has a law yet that says that you can't smoke and drive, right? But maybe one is coming. But, like I said, she could have maybe had one drink, but was not at the limit, or they wasn't really sure, all of this. So they probably was just like, just get the hell on up out of there and come on, bring it on home. Okay. And then they ended up charging her with a misdemeanor hit and run. But isn't it something that these celebrities are starting to like get in these accidents and then just bone out? Like, they just had Kevin Hart just did it. I was worried that the nigga was really, really injured, like, you know, couldn't walk, kind of injured. They just showed a video of him recently with Irv Gotti and Jay-Z and a whole bunch of other people in Hollywood. I guess they had gone to dinner, and, you know, he had his hoodie on and all of that, but you could tell that it was him. Terrence J did it. Remember, he got into that car and pretty much completely totaled it, and then just left the car and walked away. Okay. And now we have her, and there's been other people that have done it too. You shouldn't just be able to walk away, but like I said, if you are drunk or if you have been drinking or something, you can get on home, you can sober yourself up. By the time the police gets to the scene of the crime, you know, figures out what was going on there, and then got to figure out where you live, and then come to your house and try to do, you know, by then, you know, you could have come down off of that high or being drunk or something, you know, so you buying yourself time. And I'm not sure if that's what's going on if that was the case here, but I'm starting to feel like more and more people are leaving the scenes of these accidents because of that reason. Okay. And especially when they're famous or, you know, have money like that. They have lawyers that can just make these things go away or be very, very minimal charge. And they won't have to worry about it because it's not like they're going to have to be putting in job applications anywhere and saying that they have a misdemeanor charge, you know, because they're already rich, you know. So, yeah. But that's the newest with Miss Lori Harvey. Misdemeanor, I guess she'll get maybe some community service. Maybe they might even let her take a class and get rid of it off of her record altogether. The bigger question is, did Diddy finally leave her young ass alone? I surely hope so. Okay. Future is kind of old too, but he ain't as old as Diddy's ass. All right, you guys, and then lastly in Quickies, not surprised at all that they're going to appeal the Amber Geiger case. Like, you know, I know the girl was crying and saying she wishes she was dead and all of that, but at the end of the day, nobody wants to fucking sit in jail. Definitely not for 10 years, okay? So I knew that they wasn't just going to take this, you know, take that verdict and just let it be. They're going to try to get that girl out of jail. You know, most people now are concerned about the fact that the key witness is dead. The gentleman that, you know, was just killed a couple of weeks ago. Now that his testimony is not admissible, that could be the reason why Amber Geiger is able to walk free. That doesn't seem fair to me at all. Like, he's dead, but his words are his words. It seems like they should be able to take those words and apply it to this case. But I know the law doesn't work like that. My rock star lawyers out there, you guys tell me, the real ones, please. Okay, don't, the real ones, thank you. Do we just completely throw out his testimony? We don't even think about the things that he say, and now it's like we just starting all the way over from the beginning? Like, if that is the case, then you could not tell me that them people killed that man, if that's what it all boils down to. Okay, you can't convince me otherwise. But like I said, y'all, the real rock star lawyers, put me up on game. Let me know if that's true. Is what he said now just completely moot? And then maybe you guys can help me out with this controversy about these Always maxi pads. Always, the brand, taking off the female symbols off of their packaging because they want to be all inclusive. Listen, I'm all here. I'm here for the all inclusivity. Like, I'm here for it. I'm learning, right? I'm trying to broaden my mind and open it up. For the life of me, I can't understand, when is a man wearing a Always maxi pad? And this is like a for real, truthful question, not trying to be shady or nothing. Women have periods. Women menstruate. Some women don't, okay? But that is something that is, as far as I have always known, that is only something that women will do. Men don't have periods. Men who even have had gender reassignment and have gone through the transformation, they still don't have periods, correct? They don't have, you still don't have that inner working of a you know, of the whole cycle of you menstruating and disposing of the blood and everything. So I honestly don't understand why a man would, I'm not understanding. I just need somebody to explain to me, where is the inclusivity? Are there men that wear pads because maybe they wear it for other reasons and I just don't get it? But I know that what the Always maxi pad is intended for, I don't think that they were, you know, I don't think that they were excluding anybody by having a female symbol on the damn packaging. Okay? I don't know. I don't know. Congratulations to Nicki Minaj. She married her love of her life. Let her tell it. Okay. What's his name? Kenneth Zoo Petty. They call him Zoo. I told you guys a few months ago that they had applied for their marital license, their marriage license in Beverly Hills, and that I think they had 60 or 90 days to seal the deal. And on October 21st, 2019, she announced to the world on her Instagram a video that she was married. And in the video was like her bridal shoes on the floor, and then the camera kind of pans up to the table, and there's a black hat that says groom, a white hat that says bride, and two mugs. One says Mr. and the other one says Mrs. So clearly saying that they are married. I guess it was a small private affair, and good for them. I know a lot of people don't approve of her man and, you know, his past, and even the Barbs. It won't be the first time that the Barbs have been very upset with their, you know, their idol But I guess they just gonna have to accept it. She's a married woman. That is her husband. Okay, a package deal. If you want Nicki, you gotta take Zoo too. So I guess congratulations to the happy couple. There's stories going around that Monique and Candace had a fight on the Real Housewives of Potomac set, like wherever they were filming. They're saying that Candace and Monique got into some sort of confrontation. Candace threw her drink into Monique's face, and they're saying that Monique blacked out and literally dragged Candace. It was a for real fight. Now, do I know that for a fact? I do not. I don't have insides to Real House wives producers or anything like that, so I don't know if this story is true or false. It's always some smoke when some stories like this come up. So, you know, there may have been some sort of form of this that might have happened, okay, instead of it being thrown in her face, you know, threw the drink towards her and it got a little bit on her shoulder. Instead of her being literally dragged, you know, it could have just been she pushed her once and the other one pushed back. And, you know, so you know how things can get blown up because they're trying to make sure that the interest for the show is there. But I think that we were all going to be interested in the show because they had a good season 4, but now they're filming for season 5 already. The show will be back, you know, after, it usually comes on like right after Real Housewives of Atlanta, or sometimes it'll come on right at the end, like it'll start to be a few weeks into the end of Real Housewives of Atlanta, okay, so that they can kind of get some of that Real Housewives of Atlanta momentum. But the show actually can stand on its own now. They don't need that Real Housewives of Atlanta momentum any longer, I don't think, anyway. But so I guess we'll see. I mean, it's clear that Candace and Monique don't like each other. I'm sure that Candace was probably in her face, and you know, these things do happen with Candace. She definitely doesn't quite, you know how to respect personal space, okay? So I guess we'll just see. But wouldn't that be something if Monique did drag Candace? And then congratulations are in order to, I guess it depends on who you're asking. But Monica and Shannon, okay, Shannon Brown and Monica Brown. Well, it was formerly Monica Brown. She's had her maiden name reinstated. Their divorce was made final, okay? She had pursued the divorce, and she got it, all right? I was like, oh, this is why that damn Shannon Brown was acting a fool on social media for these last couple of weeks. Like, I was like, this boy ain't never said nothing. I ain't never seen or heard. You know, he's always been one of those ones that, like, don't have much of a personality to me. Like, him and even Carmelo, even though Carmelo seems to have more of a personality than he does. But Shannon has always been just sort of like a wet napkin, like just a wet, just nothing to me, you know? So it's been strange to see him in the blogs and shit this week, posting pictures of him selling his wedding ring, and a picture of him and Monica and her holding up the finger. I thought that was a recent picture, and turns out, no, that was probably an old picture of her holding up her finger, like the FU finger. I'm sorry, I'm not flipping you guys off, with her wedding ring on. At first, I was like, I know that they didn't get back together. But no, he's just posting old pictures, and he's just saying all kind of crazy. I said, boy is having a fucking nervous breakdown. I shouldn't laugh. That is not funny when people have nervous breakdowns, but, you know, I think he's having a hard time accepting the fact that him and Monica are no longer. Okay, but I think Monica's happy about it. So I guess unless, just in her case anyway, congratulations. She is finally divorced and free. Lastly, you guys, I have to give a happy birthday shout out to two of my rock stars. Respect My Pretty, who has been a follower of mine for a long time on YouTube, has always been very, 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 very supportive, and you know, always reaches out and all of that. He is going to be 40 years old on tomorrow. And then Shaliloquy, I believe it is. She's also been following me on I know on Instagram for the longest. I don't know what her YouTube name might be, if she's still the same name or what, but I have seen her on Instagram for a long time. And so happy birthday to you both. Okay, I hope you guys live it up this weekend safely, but with all the fun that you can muster. Okay, turn up, turn up, turn up. All right, you guys, that's it. I've been in this car for an hour. Didn't realize that I was doing that much damn talking. We did have a lot of subjects today, though. But anyway, you guys, let me get off of here. We do this every single week, so make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back.